going on, everybody? The Viscount sent word to us that the Arishok wanted to speak to us specifically, by name, and of course that raised the Viscount's eyebrows as just how we gained his trust, and we're like, well, shit, you know, just been honest, and it's something that people in Kirkwall seem to have a real hard time with, just being straight up and honest, doing anything for anybody for any reason except for their own personal gain. It's not like we don't keep gold in mind when we do our own work, but, you know, at least we're working for it. Not trying to shyster everybody, and, you know, yeah, we're not part of any carta or the assassin group or mercenaries or political group trying to take advantage of the refugees. And I mean, just the list goes on and on and on. Yeah, we're not doing all of that. We don't mind getting our hands dirty, but at least you know, we're willing to work for ours. I can say that much. Anyway, so apparently the Arishok respects that as much as he's able to respect anything around this, as he would say, a cesspool or pustule of a city. And so he wants us to come talk to him. Apparently there's a problem, and really with the Qunari, it's the matter of, you know, everyone ignoring that elephant sitting in the middle of the room. You just use that analogy again, is like pretending that if you just ignore them, they'll go away. And, you know, the problem just keeps growing. And eventually everybody's, you know, sitting there suffocated at the edge of the room with their head crushed up against the wall, barely able to breathe, saying, no problem here. And, yeah, there's a big problem. And it's, you know, it's going to come to a boiling point, just like with the Mages and Templars and everything else going on here. It has to come to a head eventually. Anyway, so, I mean, you know, you go in and you try to simmer things down and solve things, but usually in trying to work things out, you find out just how deep the problem really goes. And I think we'll find that out. Anyway, so up to this point, the Arishok's been basically saying, yeah, ship's coming. In other words, don't ask and we won't tell. In fact, if you ask, we still won't tell. You know, we're here on our own agenda. You wouldn't understand it, so we're not going to bother to tell you. Well, we might understand it. Okay, we're still not going to bother to tell you. So, you know, that's it. Anyway, so what I'm doing right here is, before I even head out, I was able to upgrade my gear, so I have a few extra rune slots in my armor now, and decent armor rating, something that'll last at least throughout the rest of this act, I think, so I don't have to worry about another chest piece or any of that. And essentially, we'll just work towards the champion's armor in Act 3, and then, you know, we'll be set with that. But I need to figure out really a good combination of runes. Is that I have a few rune slots at my disposal, but some of my followers have one or none. I don't think Anders has any right now. And then Meryl has one for herself. Now, Aveline has the advantage of carrying a shield, which can add her an extra rune slot or two, or whatever. And I don't remember what shield I go to look for in Act 3, but there's one that I believe has 3 slots in it. And that gives her just a little everything. You can throw, like, you know, spirit, fire, and whatever. Nature, or, you know, frost or lightning, maybe. Lightning pretty much ends, the lightning threat pretty much ends in Act 2. And I'll just leave it at that. I mean, everyone probably knows what I'm talking about, but it's, you know, spoiler alert type thing. I'll just leave it at that. You know, the big lightning problem pretty much takes place at the end of this chapter, and then after that, I can't remember it really rearing its ugly head much after that. But fire will definitely come into play, especially in Act 3. Spirit, anytime you run into demons, you've got, you know, spirit and even nature damage problem. If you have the arcane horrors, I think are the worst about that. They can do these huge AoE spirit attacks, which are similar to a blood mage AoE, you know, blood draw type thing. Or they'll do these, they'll create these huge glowing orbs of nature, and they basically explode like a little mini nuke. And they can, those things can take out your whole party. Anyway, but if you have a good defense to it, the amount of damage they do is reduced significantly. And I think there's something to be said also for the quality of gear you put these runes in. If you've got some 1-star piece of crap chest piece that just happens to have a rune slot in it, and you put a particular rune in there, you might get 100 points of resistance, which I don't remember exactly how many points actually add up to 100%, but I think it's in like the thousands, you know, so 100 points is like 1 or 2% resistance type of thing. I mean, it's petty. But if you put that same rune into a high quality piece of gear, you'll get a much higher resistance. So if you've ever put a couple runes into something, you say, well, I should have protection now, and you go in and it doesn't seem like it's doing anything for you, odds are that that piece of gear is garbage. You know, it's, or, you know, it was nice at the time 10 levels ago, but now it's totally out, you know, outclassed. The stuff you could pick up now is probably 3 times higher armor rating and you know, 3 times better as far as stat bonuses and stuff like that. So anyway, keep an eye out for good stuff. This was a DLC chess piece here, and it looks like it's a good probably 30-40%, 30-40 points higher in armor rating than the average chess piece that you might find of, you know, equal quality. So, you know, of course they're going to make it just a little bit better for being a DLC item, but that's fine. It's something that'll carry me through the rest of this chapter. I don't have to think about it. I hate that it might make things a little easier for a while, but that's fine. We'll just run with it.
Yes.
Last we met, I did not know your name. Did not care to. You have changed your fortune over the years. The Qunari have not. I offer a courtesy, Hawk. Someone has stolen what he thinks is the formula for Gatlock. You will want to hunt him.
Excuse me, but this sounds like quite the feat.
It was allowed. The stolen formula was a decoy. Sarkamek, a poison gas, not explosives. A small amount is dangerous enough to your kind, but if made in quantity, perhaps by someone intending to sell it.
That merchant, Javaris.
Would he be cautious? Or would he assume success and make enough to threaten a district? A courtesy, Hawk. You will want to hunt him.
Any idea where we can find Javaris?
I heard about a sell-off. Merchant territories and such. They don't do that unless someone left in a hurry. I'd have figured he'd rooked some noble. He's sure not a burglar.
Just tell me where he is.
I haven't kept up on the squirt. Ask the coterie.
Panahadan, Hawk. I do not hope you die.
That's about as far as he goes as a compliment. I do not hope you die. I really like the Arishok in a couple ways. It's actually pretty cool. I mean, besides the whole, you know, Qun thing, you know, going on there, he's pretty cool. Actually, I'd kind of like to know Arishok if he wasn't indoctrinated in the Qun. He'd probably be pretty cool just to talk to. But yeah, he's pretty much set in his ways, obviously, which is part of their culture. Anyway, okay, so they basically lay out a decoy. They get their feelers out and find out somebody's, you know, gonna try to go in through the back door and get the explosive powder, and so they lay out a trap, essentially, convincing everybody that here it is, and of course someone takes it. I guess we'll see how all that plays out, but it's some poison. Now I'm gonna come up with a kind of a theory of my own here. This may have some implications later in some stuff, but I just want to point out a few things later on in this quest. It's going to be a minute before we get there, but regarding this poison in particular, there's some interesting qualities about it, and based on the art and the graphics, things that we'll see during the, you know, towards the end of this quest, I think there's something really significant there. It really points towards this poison saying, you know, the poison is the poison itself, but it points towards something which I think might be significant. I know I'm being really vague. I'll tell you what I'm talking about when we get there. I kind of have to be there and see it. See what I'm talking about?
From the start. He had a meager lot, but he skipped with dues outstanding. So up it goes. Sounds like he's made a few friends. Can one of them point me his way? Ask that about anyone else, I'd have you thrown out. This one, he owes me too. Javaris left in a hurry. I'd put him at Smugglers' Cut if he's avoiding patrols. It empties at a cave outside town. Tell him I said, don't come back.
Javaris doesn't exactly sound like a mastermind at work here.
You know, with all these caves and escape routes and, you know, back ways out of town down here, it's impossible that the guards don't know about it, but I guess the good thing for the thugs is that most of the guards are corrupt. So it doesn't really matter if they know where you're at. It's not like they're going to bust you. They want a piece of it. They don't want to stop the crime. They want a part of the crime. Notice we're building up a decent nest egg here. Back up into the 50 gold range. Probably get up into the hundreds. There are some items which I may or may not buy. If I don't see anything at the gauntlet that I really want or need for my rogue, which I think there's a belt, and I believe, if I remember right, doesn't cost a whole lot. It's somewhere between 20 and 40 gold, which, well, I guess that's a lot, but it's not like this other staff. But I could go back to the Wounded Coast and talk to that mage guy and get that staff for Meryl, because that's something she could essentially carry through the rest of the game. I think that's why it costs so much, is that's essentially what it's designed for, is to be kind of an in-game weapon for a mage, you know. And since obviously I'm not playing a mage as my main character, if I don't need anything specifically in this act, I may go ahead and get that for her. And then if there's one dream item I want in Act 3, and other than I think one more tome and making there's a key potion that I want to make. I think it's kind of expensive to make. It's like 3 or 5 gold or something, or 6, I don't know, something like that. Other than that, I can't think of a whole lot. The rogue isn't really it's not near as much equipment as a warrior. The warrior, really everything's going to go towards your gear and your tomes, and there's a lot of things to have to make a warrior just elite, you know, like some stuff that makes you immune to stun and knockback, knockdown, and even criticals, I think. You know, it's you know, a lot of different gear to go find, but it's like a ring here, and maybe, what, an amulet there, and a belt here, and, you know, of course, then you factor in your basic equipment and stuff. And why is Anders down there all up in their face trying to tank it? He did. He just went after it. All right, Anders. Well, no one can accuse you of being a coward, at least. Yeah, he's gonna bring friends with him too. These guys aren't a whole lot different than those dwarven carta guys down there. What was it? The docks? They just come in mobs. And now these assassins are pretty nasty. These guys will one-shot you. They aren't playing any silly games. There he is. Yeah, see, he can come in here and really create a lot of problems if he stays on anyone but Aveline. Aveline, Anders, I think, can keep Aveline on the feet right here, because he kind of radiates healing. They just the reinforcements just keep coming. See, now this is I think what frustrates some people in Dragon Age combat is you're like, wow, what is an end to it? Well, if you learn to expect a ridiculous number of people, then you know, deal with it, type of thing. Prepare for it accordingly. This is going to test your build. This is going to test your whole party. Alright. Assassinate does wonders. It's like, I can assassinate too, bitch. But that's, you know, that's quite a bit of XP. A lot of times the XP rewards you get for a particular mob fight will kind of give you an idea of the ranking of that mob fight. I mean, obviously, you know, more XP, you know, the harder the challenge. But like, you know, you see something that gives you anything from 500 on up, especially when you get into the 700 to 1000 range. That's usually boss level type stuff. You get, you know, say 750 or whatever for killing a, you know, a mature dragon, or 1000, maybe even 1200. You know, stuff like that. So this was what, 725 or whatever, you know, 700 something. So this is considered one of the harder challenges that they're going to throw at you. And so if you can pass it handily, you know, if you can kind of get by, someone may get knocked out by some, you know, lucky backstab from one of the rogues or something like that. Whatever. I can kind of deal with that. A lot of times when you lose, like, say, one party member, especially towards the end of a fight, it could have gone either way. You could have got through that fight, you know, without even you know, scraping a knee. But then other times, like I say, someone will get in a lucky shot, or one of your mages will get trapped in a corner, getting mobbed, and you can't get over there to them before, you know, they get, you know, beat up on a little bit. Maybe a particular enemy that's not so tough, but they just hit really hard, type of thing. And so you might lose a party member here and there like that. That's happened. I can forgive myself for that. But the absolute almost instant party wipes, that's when I stop and I have to retool my party and say, something I didn't think about here. There's so many things to keep track of, is that although I feel I have personally maybe a little bit of experience in the game just from the hours and the amount of just passion I poured into playing this, because I just love this game, there's more than that I don't know than what I know, as far as everything from combat to numbers to tactics to this and that and blah blah blah. And that's great for me because you know what, stuff I get to learn. That's an excuse to play more. I'm totally cool with that. But anyway, as it is, I think we're doing okay. I think this build is pretty solid so far. There's some things that if I were to go back and the exact same points that I put everywhere in my characters right now, if I were to go back and play through again from scratch, I would probably put them in a different order. I probably would, like each time. Like at the end of the day, pretty much the skills are more or less set. Although I'm experimenting with one or two things, like that stone's throw with Meryl. That's something I hadn't played with before, and I'm seeing it's keeping her out of trouble. I can't keep an eye on her through every fight because I'm just trying to stay alive myself. So I'm not exactly sure what all she's exactly doing. But she seems to be getting out of it. I've had problems with her getting mobbed in the past. That's happening less so now. Like I say, there's going to be times where they get cornered. And you just, I mean, it can be helped, but, sometimes just in the heat of a fight, if one of your mages is being harassed over, off to the side over there, sometimes it's hard to see it. You just don't know it until it's too late type thing. But for the most part, she's keeping herself pretty much out of danger and doing her thing. And as long as she's on her feet, her having to heal herself isn't that big of a deal. Yeah, she's over here just doing her thing. Being a beast, right? Okay, now we got mobs here. And I gotta trust that Aveline can just take it. That she can just handle her own over there and just keep them off my mages. And I'm finding a pretty good system with that. Matter of fact, kind of factor in the amount of hate that your mages can draw, and thin out the enemies as they basically worry about your mages as opposed to your tank. Not that I want them getting the hate, but it's impossible that they don't draw attention with the power of the spells that they're putting out. It really is. And what happened there? That was weird. I think I almost died, but didn't, or something. Oh well. Very strange. Kill this guy. Try to kill him before he heals. Sometimes you can get him just as he's coming back up. You have about a half-second window. Those stupid lieutenant assassins. Now notice Aveline, at least under especially basic attacks here, she's just a beast. She's just an absolute champ. She's losing almost nothing, and it's just going to get better. She has that ability in her specialist tree, which is like immovable, right? And it essentially just allows her to just take a beating. And the more beating she takes, the tougher she gets. It's pretty cool, actually. All right. Now Meryl doesn't have paralyze, but she has the what's it called? It's essentially, it's like a blood mage ability. It's where she essentially sets out this, similar to what the other blood mages do, although it doesn't actually heal her, I don't think. Is it Wrath of the... No, it's not Wrath of the Elven. That's the one that's like an AoE kind of halo around her that basically hurts enemies that get anywhere near her, which increases their aggro, by the way. It's the other one. Anyway, I have to go look at her skill tree. But, she casts that, and it can, other than, like, skeletons and stuff, there's some enemies that are immune to it. That's the only downside to it. But it kind of acts as a momentary paralyze, and it does a lot of damage. Especially once you get her magic up really high, which knows we're sinking all of her points into just her magic and health. And that's a win-win with her, as she gets to get tankier and get stronger all at the same time. And increase her mana pool, because her mana pool is her health bar. I mean, that's, like, badass, right? But, the stronger she gets magic-wise, some of her spells and stuff just do so much damage. I mean, we have to pepper a lot of points out with Anders. We can't just sink everything into magic with him. He needs a willpower, he needs a mana pool to draw from. He needs some health, and of course he needs some points in magic to do something. And so you need to just factor all that in with him. With Meryl, it's really easy leveling her. 2 points into magic, 1 point into health, basically. Sometimes early on you might want to sink a few extra points into health, keeping in mind that's basically, like I say, her health and mana draw. But After that, it's basically just a 2-for-1, and you just go from there. And then, you know, she gets her magic up into like 50s or 60s, whatever, depending upon what you gear her with. And she's nasty. She really is. We got an assassin causing problems here. I do have a problem with them being able to disappear that fast, that often. It's like they don't have not only any cooldown on their stealth whatsoever, but it's like they have no stamina limit either. So special ability should cost something to cast, and you shouldn't be able to cast that special ability 40 or 50 times in a 10-second span just at will, so that you are essentially in God mode. Some of these assassins stay almost in God mode. Is that they're unless you have an AoE spell in effect that breaks their stealth all the time, they can just go in and out of stealth. I mean, just at will. Come out just to backstab you, one-shot a party member, and leave instantly, and then just do it again and stay that way. I mean, that's kind of cheap, actually, in my opinion. That's a little bit cheap. That's fine. I have the ability to one-shot too, so I take a great pleasure in one-shotting friggin' enemy assassins and Templar hunters and stuff like that. I love it. Doesn't get any better than that. Alright, so we found a personal, I guess you could say, quest item for Isabella there, and all that stuff, and some extra XP, picking locks, and just nice quest to go on. I really like this main story quest for that. You seems like you just about level each one that you do, or real close to it. Okay, and they're not going to let us out of this corner, are they? And we got an assassin in the back, and I don't think I can get to him. I hope he doesn't take out my mages. Apparently, I guess the higher your magic, the more effective your rock armor is. I'm guessing that with the mage because Meryl's rock armor is becoming more and more potent. She's taking less damage per attack, and this assassin's just not going to get off our back, is he? Yeah, there he is, just being a badass. He's going to one-shot me, so I need to get up out of here. And got Meryl. Finally got Meryl. See, Meryl got up, instantly healed herself. But
you? Granny's garters.
I don't think all of her passives are active. Need to look at that.
Buy a break on discount. You know what? Go ahead. Take my head and pike it back to that sodding elf. I need the rest.
What in blazes are you talking about?
But you don't know? Then what? You're tracking for the Qunari? Then she did it. That elf got them after me for nothing. Bitch born.
The obvious thief was perhaps a bit too obvious.
Look, I'm minding business, same old. And out of the blue, some elf tries to kill me. Says she's got the Qunari powder and I'm her cover. I slipped her, hired some bodyguards, and ran for it. And now you're here. Great.
So far, all I see is you.
Leaving the other person behind is the first step in running away. Sorry if that's inconvenient. Here. Want to drag Dark into light? I had a man follow her. The elf's in Lowtown. I just want to get out with my dead guards. Thanks for that.
Sounds like you have a long way to go. Hopefully.
Right. Got me a rosy future to plan out. Think I'll start by selling some boots. Sodding bunch of... Take a long breath on a short shaft, you blasted dog-lord inroaders.
As obnoxious as he is, I can't hate this guy. I don't know, maybe there's some real scandalous thing about him that I'm supposed to be aware of, but other than that, I just see a guy who just keeps shooting himself in the foot, and it's almost kind of funny if it wasn't so tragic. Sure, he tried to get the powder to make a profit, but I don't think he was out to, you know, blow up the world type thing. There's something to be said for the power to blow people up. You know, if mages can do it with their minds, well, if you can't do it with your mind, go find some powder to do it with. There's something to be said for keeping that out of most people's hands. A gun isn't dangerous until you put it in the hands of somebody dead set on killing somebody. Of course, then a broken bottle, a club, a stick, a knife, whatever, isn't dangerous until you put it in the hands of somebody who wants to do that. So, you know, if you're just dead set on blowing up the world, you'll find a way to do it. With or without this explosive powder or blood magic or anything else. If you're just dead set on it, you'll do it. And that's just bad human nature. That doesn't have anything to do with magic or technology or anything else. That's just people. Okay, so the trail leads here. Now this is unlocked for us. So we've taken care of the carta, which is a good thing.
Stay out.
What's going on, Mason?
God, Captain, I can't even describe.
On your time, son.
Reports of some haze with a stench of rust and throw-up. There was a cloud, then a lingering mist. Anyone caught in the cloud just went mad. Then the others just wretched themselves dead.
All right, keep your post. We'll take it from here. He's a good man. Trust that it's as bad as he says.
Let's hope this elf didn't try to make enough powder to sell.
Didn't sound like a merchant to me. Let's go.
Alright, so we have a poison gas here. And although we take little spurts of damage here, overall, I don't think it's so much the damage it does. I believe this gas debuffs you. It lowers your resistances and stuff to, like, everything or something. I don't know, someone could go look it up and see exactly what all it does against you, but it doesn't really hurt you any faster than you can heal, as far as that goes. So I know you see little numbers popping up here and there every few seconds, but it's just like 2s and 3s. That, you know, you get that back instantly. I think the thing with this is it reduces like all your elemental and physical resistances and stuff. Alright, and essentially each wave will start with each barrel that we close. I think that's how this works. We'll grab that latch here in a second. We'll look around, grab loot first, and then all we have to worry about is just enemies. So there's going to be plenty of those. Okay, so we have this poison gas that has the ability to drive you mad. Okay, so this isn't just a matter of just killing everybody. There's something more to this, and there's a couple key things I really want to point out and see what you guys think. Get your feedback on this here in a minute. For right now, it's just a matter of just killing just a whole bunch of enemies. If you ever struggled with this one right here, I'd strongly suggest keeping your eye out for archers and obviously the assassins. Although there's not assassins in every wave. I think it's the first and the third have assassins. The second one has essentially a commander. And my dog's got this one cornered. You like that? Well, that archer's not going to be shooting anybody if he's over here getting molested by my hound. And of course they just drop out of the ceilings just everywhere. This is one of those things where they come from literally all angles and stuff. Oh, this one has a commander and assassins. Okay, well, I take that back. I thought they kind of mixed it up a little bit, and they are, but they're mixing it up all in one wave. Alright, well, awesome, now we know. But these melee guys aren't near as dangerous. The mages can kind of kite them. The good thing is we're in an open area. That is one good thing. I mean, it's bad because they can come from everywhere, but it's good in that my team has kind of somewhere to move around. But let's see. I'm looking for archers. Oh, there's one behind Anders over there. See, it doesn't look like I'm gonna be able to clear this out. Oh, these guys are taking some damage, man. Okay, he's just sitting here, just laying into Anders from behind. About time to get him out of the way. Get the commander down by himself now. Assassinate, or even Twin Fangs when they're petrified like that. Assassinate just gets a ridiculous damage bonus. they actually get damage resistance while they're petrifying, because they're like stuck in place, but they're harder to kill. But assassinate really, it actually overrides all that, and I mean, you just get this huge spike damage. You can one-shot those lieutenants a lot of times when they're whatchamacallit, when they're petrified like that, covered in rocks. And Meryl doesn't do it as often as I would like, maybe, but I don't have her doing it to everybody. It's mainly enemies that really counts. I don't need her running around those little mobs that I can one-shot anyway. I don't need her petrifying them while this boss is standing over here, you know, with a clean jersey on, just not even getting touched. I need those spells reserved for the enemies that actually do some good. I'm just going on archer hunting here. Let's see. There's one. I like the little guys that I can one-shot. Those are the good archers. Ones that you can kill quick. The only good archer is a dead archer? Seriously? Actually, if I was smart, I would just let Dog hold his own. And basically, what he's accomplishing is keeping a few people out of the mix. Although, on the other hand, he is kind of getting them to huddle together. Okay, now we got a real assassin. Right, let's see if I can assassinate him. See, there you go. He gets to go invisible as soon as I hit the assassinate button, so it wastes my assassinate, gives him a free ride, and that's BS. Sorry, that's BS. And I go to hit Twin Fangs, it makes me waste my Twin Fangs. Well, it didn't spend it that time, but a lot of times it will. Your ability will go away, the enemy will take no damage. Yeah, friggin' cheap ass. And then he gets to heal after he's dead. Okay, well, whatever. Holler at you, asshole. Annoying. Annoying. The equivalent of an Inquisition archer.
I'll take comfort in his certainty when this is over.
Okay, guess we'll heal Anders up real quick. Assuming I've got enough friggin' injury kits to heal him. Okay, we good now? Damn, bro, you got a drinking problem? Alright. Bro, you even heal? Alright, and I just save between waves. I hate having to backtrack. As long as there's no enemies around. I'm glad it doesn't stick you in combat as long as you're taking that stupid poison damage. Because you would never get to save in this, and if you screwed up at any point, you'd have to redo all 4 waves. That would be bad, to say the least. Oh, that's several archers down already. Nice. I like that. Okay, another archer. Nice. Okay, yeah, I'll go get these guys off my mages. Alright, so they've drawn all the heat over here. Aveline's over there doing her thing. Holding some hate, but, okay, now everybody here is being buffed by this, commander, too, it looks like. And he's gonna stun the shit out of everybody. Good thing is there's friendly fire for the enemies, too. If they go something to you, they can catch their own in that. Which is not the case with Inquisition. Inquisition, friendly fire only counts for your party. Gotta love haste. Look at that. I can kill you faster than you can heal, asshole. There you go. How many times have I gotten killed because I've been slowed like that? That's one good thing about getting these guys by themselves. Alright, we're almost there. Like I said, there's something I'd like to point out here when we see this actual elf that's responsible for all this. Go ahead and save real quick. Alright, so here she is. Now take a good look at her face.
So, your fault, I presume?
Is that Sarah Hawk? You have enemies. I'm glad it's you, really. These poor people. You are a much better target.
So, care to explain your particular brand of crazy?
Qunari take my people. My siblings forget their culture, then go to the Qun for purpose. We're losing them twice. So I get some help from your people. We'll take the Qunari thunder, make some accidents, and make them hate it. But this is all wrong.
Which of my people put you up to the theft?
It can still work. They're hidden in your city. They'll enrage the faithful and make sure the Qunari are blamed.
There's your keyword, the faithful.
I'm finished. I just need a few more bodies. A few more.
Okay, so Sister Patrice, I mean, this doesn't excuse this elven lunatic, but Sister Patrice essentially has wired this girl up to do this, right? And essentially the idea is lose a few innocent citizens, blame the Qunari, and for the greater good, right? Innocents always have to die for the quote-unquote greater good, whether it's a blood mage doing their thing, or whether it's these friggin' fanatics doing their thing, or someone's always doing their thing, and innocent people always die as a result. Poor innocent people always get the short end of the stick, and they don't even know it's coming. That's the worst part. But anyway, looking at her face, that's blight corruption. Okay, now this poison gas here, we're gonna find the name of this poison gas is arcane poison. All right, go ahead and say that ahead of time. When I picked it up, that's what kind of made me go, huh. All right, so if you look at her face, that's the signature blight poisoning, right? So she's corrupted, possessed, or infected with something akin to, you know, the darkspawn blood poisoning thing, whatever. However you want to look at that. Bottom line is she's not in control of her senses, if she ever was. All right, but this poison having that effect, like her saying, it's all wrong. She'd planned a trap like this, and I think Sister Patrice gets what she wanted either way, right? As long as she doesn't have to die for it, because, you know, she has a higher purpose to, you know, look out for the faithful and end the Qunari threat, and, you know, take care of these heathens like they deserve, and, you know, all the other bigotry and stuff.
Right and wrong. You'll need to know about this.
But there it is, arcane poison, okay? And arcane, if you have a poison, if you have a physical substance that's able to instill corruption into somebody, and this is a Qunari thing, all right? So we found the Qunari mage, Katojan, when we did that whole thing. As cool as Katojan was, he was a blood mage, all right? So Qunari mages are blood mages. And then the Qunari warriors are essentially reavers, which are blood warriors. The equivalent of a blood mage, but not a mage. You're a warrior, but you still resort to the same thing. The only difference between a reaver and a blood mage is a blood mage, the demon finds purchase in that mage and takes up residence. With a reaver, the demon works through the reaver. Never finds any magic to take a hold of in the reaver, so it works through the reaver to destroy. All right, that's how the reaver power works. All right, and with the assassin, it's kind of similar, working through the whole stealth from the shadows to strike with basically superhuman power to assassinate. Right, I believe that would be the rogue equivalent of a blood mage. Just that's just my opinion. That's what I think. They're kind of a category apart from, you know, like your, I don't know. Obviously your Templars aren't blood mages. That's a whole different type of thing. And then with your rogues, you know, your archers and let's see, what would you have? In Inquisition, you'd have your alchemists and stuff, your tempests and stuff. That's they're dealing more with you know, chemicals, potions, elixirs, you know, things of that nature and stuff. Or traps, you know, and stuff like that, and devices, technology. Whereas just drawing from evil magic or demonic power, seems like there's some classes that are all kind of set aside for that. Not just mages, not just blood mages. Just my observation. I don't know if that has any relevance or not. But this arcane poison, I believe, might have some relevance.
I was wrong about our thief.
You'll get used to it.
They say we were careless with our trap, that this is our fault. But even without the Sarkamek, there would have been death. This elf was determined to lay blame at our feet.
But your feet didn't do anything wrong. Did they?
I admire conviction with a focus, but your kind are truly committed to weakness.
Why aren't you more concerned about her supporters?
Our enemies strike from shadow because they cannot stand before us. This is not a revelation. And it doesn't matter. I am not here to fight. I am here to satisfy a demand you cannot understand.
It's taking long enough.
It will take as long as needed. No ship is coming. There is no rescue from duty to the Qun. I am stuck here.
That is not the understanding of city leaders and their supporters.
Let them rot. Filth stole from us. Not now, not the Sarkamek. Years ago. A simple act of greed has bound me. We are all denied Parvolin until I alone recover what was lost under my command. That is why this elf and her shadows are unimportant. That is why I do not simply walk from this pustule of a city. Fixing your mess is not the demand of the Qun, and you should all be grateful! Thank you, human, for your service. Leave.
This could get bad. The Viscount should know.
Yeah, I think Arishok has crossed that line. Although the Qun may not allow for losing your patience, okay, I think he's lost his patience. And I think he's conflicted about that too, because he's in a situation that he's eventually saying to himself, even if the Qun doesn't permit him to say this, his mind can't help but say, you know, you don't deserve this. How long do you have to be here? You know, the quickest way would just be to just do away with all this bullshit and, you know, find what you're looking for. You know, if you turn the city into rubble, sift through the rubble to find what you're looking for. I think is eventually the only solution here, or just sit here and rot and never get to go home and all that. And like I say, he's bound by the Qun to fulfill this demand of the Qun. Basically, the Qun says something must be, and so if it's not, it has to be returned to that way, the way the Qun dictates. Essentially, it's like a fine line, and everything must fall in line with that line. And if it doesn't, you got to either fix it or kill it.
Gone, along with a whole street.
An accident on purpose, more or less.
Right. A mad elf pushed by zealots, likely hidden in the very groups I have to appease. The Maker has a grand sense of humor. And the Arishok. I suspected he had no plans to leave. I didn't know it was just as annoying for him.
You could send him gold and he'd complain it was heavy.
And it's about to get worse. A shame. There were overtures of civility. Your influence, no doubt.
Do I want to hear what happened?
A Qunari delegate and entourage paid me a visit. It was civil, tentative, hopeful. They left my chambers with precision, but were not reported by the outer guard. They are missing, almost literally, from my doorstep. What do you imagine will be the Arishok's reaction?
Do the Qunari generally keep you updated?
Qunari do not disappear. They know we watch, and they are not shy about their movement. Speak to Seneschal Brown. He has details that show how damning this is. I don't know who would benefit from fighting the Qunari, but it will cost all of us.
Well, we know who's behind all this. She's just instigating and setting up problems, and a lot of people are going to pay for her meddling and her self-righteous lunatic fanatical fervor, she's going to create a lot of problems for a lot of people. Okay, now that's main quest, and that's essentially the start of the next stage of that main quest. So I don't have to talk to Seneschal right now. Look at having completed that one main story quest, though, is it unlocked a lot of this companion stuff. So I would like to go do that. I'd like to go get this companion stuff out of the way, get secondary stuff out of the way as we move along, and I think with each main quest that we do, it'll unlock more of this type of stuff. And no, that definitely gives us something to do. Also, some of these companion things, they're funny, they're interesting, they get you to, they help you to get to know your companions a bit. And the one with Aveline is just classic, if it's the one I'm thinking of. Anyway, so we'll start to get on that and do other stuff. And anyway, thanks for watching. If you want to subscribe, click that button up top. And if you want to catch the rest of this Let's Play up to this point, then click that image there in the middle. It should take you there. All right, y'all take care. Bye-bye.